We're up. We're good.
Oh,
we're here.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is very professional.
That's fantastic. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sunset City, a Sonic podcast for the modern and classic age. Today, I have with me what is under Knuckles' gloves, which is Cirrus.
Wait, what am I doing there? It's sweaty here. Get me out.
I accidentally paused the thing. I also have with us Sonic's furrier persona, Channel Pup.
I think Pup's
Everyone
dead.
cut out.
Pup.
Already?
No, I'm here. Hang on. Wait. Surely I'm working.
Are you working? I thought we do this on our days off.
Well, someone stick new batteries in me then. Jesus.
Anyway, that's Pup right there. And with us also, we have the only YouTuber who hosts a Sonic show who doesn't actually have a Sonic video on any of his channel, and that's Wayne.
Don't talk about Metroid, don't talk about Metroid, don't talk about Metroid, don't talk about Metroid.
Gentlemen, how are you doing this morning?
I am dreading this.
Afternoon.
I'm good.
Pup, are you okay? What's going on, dude?
I was just scratching my nose. I didn't want to talk.
You didn't want to talk while scratching his nose
behind his ear.
Oh my god!
Fantastic.
I'd say I'm doing pretty well. I'm recovering from, or I say recovering from. I'm in the middle of a fairly bad sinus infection. So if I end up sounding kind of weird today, that's why. So yay!
That's fun there, guys. We
Shall
actually.
we quickly,
Sorry, go ahead, Pup.
go on. No, I was gonna identify the super chat.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, so our pal Jamal has once again dropped in a $2 super chat declaring his two favorite ships, Nick x Sally Acorn and Pup x Rouge forever. Winky face, thumbs up.
Hey, Pup, you ever think about just going on a double date? Just see how the night goes after a couple drinks. Just get a little
Look,
weird.
man, I know what you get up to, dude. I'm not into that swingers stuff, nor am I into hairy women. So if you don't mind, just take a step back.
I just find somebody cosplaying as Sally. Just at a convention.
You
just walk on over to you.
repulse me.
It's like, hey man, me and my friend here, we just we're checking out your vibe from across the convention hall. We're digging your vibe.
Jesus Christ.
I am uncomfortable on behalf of this hypothetical cosplayer.
I got a question. How many of us have actually been to anime conventions?
I've been to a few.
Okay.
I've been to MagFest, so not anime convention, but gaming convention.
Okay.
I've been to MCM Comic Con, and there's plenty of anime fans there. They do make themselves very known.
Not untrue. I mean, maybe I'm just lucky being in Georgia because we've got AWA here, we've got Dragon Con, we got MomoCon, we got a bunch of stuff here.
Hey, I gotta shout out the super chat here because this is actually a good friend of mine. Lady Sith, she's giving me money. It's so sweet of you, saying she already loves this. Thank you. She actually streams over on that exact name. So if you ever want a good time, go check out Lady Sith. And we gotta stream together sometime. So we'll do that at some point. And I don't know why she's here because she ain't a Sonic fan. So thank you for being supportive of us. But speaking of Sonic. I was not looking forward to actually talking Sonic this week because E3 just happened, and the last thing on my mind is going to be a 10-year-old Wii game, but we've actually had a lot of stuff shown off this past week. We've had a lot of reactions to it, which has been very interesting, and probably more interesting as far as this morning's concerned, and what we should get to first is some interesting stuff that's happening with Sonic Unleashed.
True.
Pup, you've already read about this, haven't you? You're an Unleashed guy.
To be honest, I don't know 100% what's happening, but I know two things. So I guess I'll go through my checklist of the two things I do know, but I don't take anything for granted here. So number one of the main headline things that they advertised for the Sonic concert coming on the 30th anniversary was the Sonic Unleashed theme being performed by the orchestra. Mm-hmm. So that's quite a notable little thing because there's a bunch of different Sonic themes they could be performing as their headline thing. And secondly, IGN have they seem to have turned 10 or something because they've now decided that they were unfair on Sonic Unleashed and have deleted their incredibly stupid review. Which, yeah. Look, man, I respect opinions, but when that guy just straight up jumps over a dash pad and falls into a pit, he deserves what that game's given him. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
Not untrue.
I just find it funny because the most ire that I've been hearing from Sonic Unleashed lately has been specifically from you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, on our chat. Yeah.
You keep chatting with us about how bad it is.
No, I never said how bad it is. I said that there are some things that would definitely do well from a remaster. And I want to do a video on how to remaster Sonic Unleashed at some stage. But I'm happy to talk about my ideas here if you guys are interested.
I think we can get into it in a bit. I wouldn't mind.
But
I mean, the short version is it's more quality of life updates than it is graphical updates, basically.
And it doesn't really be touched graphically. But we have another super chat from Apostle Lizard. Apostle Lizard. Thank you, Yellowtail. E3 was something all right. The Avatar game though. I guess. I don't know. I just put out a video talking about a bunch of stuff I saw at E3 I was super excited about. But I do want to talk a little bit more about these Unleashed rumors because I don't think IGN deleting the review should make a difference. But if it does, I am it leaves me a little concerned because that tells me that these big review websites are in conjunction with these, with Sega and the likes there, and that's not a healthy mix. Like there needs to be some sort of divorce between the two.
There's got to be a separation.
What I think happened? You know what I think happened is that IGN probably played Sonic Forces again, looked back at their Unleashed review, and went, "Oh shit, this is our fault. We did this."
Sonic Unleashed IGN. I'm gonna look that up right now because I've not actually seen for myself that they've deleted the review.
I don't know about the review on YouTube, but I know that on their site their rating is definitely gone.
Yeah, no, the rating is gone. It is gone, but the review itself is there.
Pathetic.
Sorry, this is kind of innocuous. Okay, they're not exactly from the same year. I was just thinking it's weird that Skyward Sword and Sonic Colors are both getting remasters this year, considering those were Wii exclusive titles from. It looks like they're about a year apart from each other, so I thought they were right on top of each other, but still same general era.
Yeah, and I so considering that IGN it's just the score that's gone, right? But the review is still there?
That's literally it.
So that's the case with the Sonic Colors review as well.
The Sonic... Is that the same with... Have we checked any of their other old reviews?
Let's see here. IGN.com.
Give me a random Wii game.
Mario Galaxy.
No, that has a port. I'm going to do Super Paper Mario. We'll go from there. But what was the other thing? There was another... The animation studio, they said, be excited for something next week.
So even Mario Galaxy's old review for the Wii does not have its numbers anymore.
Right,
okay.
So I don't think that means anything then.
Okay,
in that case.
we all got excited.
I still don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for Unleashed to be coming back in some form or fashion. It stayed consistently on sale this entire time. Ever since it was initially released, it's been re-released over and over and over again. Right up there with Red Dead and some other games that just consistently stay running on Xbox machines. So Sega knows it still makes them money. I mean, it's an easy bug to make. But
even
still,
to the point that it literally gets repackaged in Xbox One boxes now as well.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of publication going for a game that was previously indexed by Sega and then shortly removed from the index, I think briefly after Sonic Forces' release even. Because that was, about Sega's little index of effectively banned Sonic games, where they're not happy with how they performed, so they basically stopped publishing them and took them off of online marketplaces and stuff like that. Sonic Unleashed was on that index and was the only game removed from it in 2017 December time.
Mm-hmm.
Worth taking into account. I think Unleashed has been a bit of a strange case, because I think what's happened is the Sonic franchise has been changing over the years, and with that, a lot of people have been going back to Sonic Unleashed as remembering it as that one that was kind of, I guess if you consider Colors the Sonic Renaissance, Sonic Unleashed was in some ways the calm before the storm, like the transitional game from what's considered the Dark Age through to the modern post-Colors age. And I think people have been going back to it and seeing, like, actually, while it has its fair share of issues, there's a lot more to this than there is in subsequent packages, I guess. I came back to it recently, and I remembered it being like the best game ever made and being perfect and stuff. I came back to it being able to take down some very easy notes on things that are very problematic about the game, but at the same time, they're very easily fixed. So it's one of those things where I think if there is a remaster coming, I think Sega could really turn things around for Sonic Unleashed's overall reputation. Like, if they were to remaster it with the ideas that I have in mind, which are small, easy fixes, then they would have a pretty popular game on their hands, I would imagine. But I think, again, the Werehog, that's something you're either going to roll with or you're not. Like, you're not going to change anyone's mind about. If you don't think the Werehog belongs there, and you think that intrinsically breaks Sonic Unleashed, I don't think remastering it or giving it quality of life updates is going to change that.
Well, yeah, because if you're already not there for the Werehog, if you're already not there for, like, this extra dressing, then that's not going to make it better. Same thing, like, if you handed somebody Sonic Adventure 2 and they already didn't like treasure hunting and shooting, no matter what you did to that game, they're still going to come away from it going, yeah, I didn't like 2/3 of this.
I really do think it's a missed opportunity to not have a boost collection, because Unleashed, I feel as good as it does with the critical backlash initially got, and I think it's justified in terms of the Werehog is and then the Medallion collection. It really would do much better if it had the cushioning of Colors and Generations, you know?
Yeah,
like
so upon my revisit, like, my main observation was the worst thing about this is the medallions. I didn't remember them being quite as bad as that. The progression system in Sonic Unleashed is enough to ruin the game for people, I think. Like, I had instances where it said, collect like 10 medallions. I was like, okay, let's push forward and stuff. In, like, at Adabat, it said collect 32, and I just wanted to put the game down. I lost all motivation, and I think that will have happened with a lot of people that played this game, and I think it's one of those things where they either need to reduce the mandate by, like, a good chunk, or remove that as the progression system altogether. I actually have an idea for what they could replace it with. There's plenty of NPCs around the town with NPC missions. Mandate 3 NPC missions before progressing at these parts. That way, you at least know where to go, and you know what to do. Whereas with these Sun and Moon medals, you can just be searching aimlessly, and it flies in the face of Sonic's gameplay style. The boost gameplay, you don't have time to search for medals and stuff, because you're flying through these levels at high speed. So it doesn't work. But yeah, no, that's just one idea for how they could really do a lot to really remedy the big progression issue.
That's basically what they did with the Wii and PS2 versions too. Like, so the Wii and PS2 versions, you don't have a hub world, but you do have the NPCs, and getting to the next stages is locked literally behind help 2 NPCs, help 3 NPCs, help the priest over here, help the Inuits over here. Like, that's literally what they did in the Wii version instead of locking progression behind the medals. So I think you're right. Yeah. They could just take that and put it in the hub world.
The other major thing, which must be fixed if they do a remaster, expand the hitboxes for the Werehog, because the amount of times when my hits were clearly connecting but the enemies weren't taking damage was stupid. And the balance beam sections, they need to widen those hitboxes up a lot as well, because, like, at times you very clearly in any other game would have just landed on that thing from a jump. whale just slips down the side. It's too much. It's too difficult. I think this is something that will have put people off of the werehog more than just the concept itself, was some of the bullshit hit detection and his very arced movement for instances where it really needs you to do very precise turns and stuff. The one final thing I would change, because I don't want to get too far into this, is if possible, switch daytime Sonic's controls out with modern Sonic's controls from Sonic Generations, because they're just better.
Yeah, I'm really surprised we didn't see more just I don't know. This is going to transition us into colors here fairly easily, because there's a lot of little and I agree with you. There's not a lot they need to do for Unleashed to really justify bringing it back. But again, since the werehog is such a major component of the game, I do think, like I said, a collection would have really, really helped that game out, instead of, because I truly don't think Sega is ever going to give it the red carpet treatment like it's doing for Colors currently. I think just the critical backlash from critics alone is enough to be like, we don't know about that. But I don't ever want them to just like flat out forget it, because critics of the day didn't enjoy it and didn't get to see it the whole way through, because we lost so much with that game. Like, I'm glad they tightened some stuff up with Colors and then with Generations, but yeah, I saw a tweet the other day where they're like, I love how they treated it like a movie. And I'm like, regardless of how I feel about any of the new characters or this or that and the other, I do appreciate that about it. It has a very cinematic feel through the entire experience. And I think a lot of fans miss that. I certainly do.
Like, just that care and production value.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it also probably came across a little bit that when I was replaying Sonic Unleashed, I think it probably seemed like I was a bit more down on that game. But like, once I'd gotten past that medal mandate and stuff, I was feeling much better about it. But I will say this: Sonic Unleashed hasn't gone down in my estimations. I can still recognize all of the beauty that I saw in it before. But what I will say is games like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations have gone up in my estimations. I can now look at Sonic Colors and say, yeah, I see why they took the route that they did with that when juxtaposed with Sonic Unleashed. Even though I still overall prefer Unleashed, I can understand now why they felt it was necessary to do things like ditching the hub worlds, ditching the very larger-than-life feel, ditching the supersonic boss fights, ditching all of the things that made the game longer. Like, one of the things is Colors is very short in comparison to Unleashed. But what I did notice is a lot of that comes down to the fact that it, A, ditches Sun and Moon medal mandates, and B, ditches Werehog. And Colors is in many ways much more what a Sonic game should be than Unleashed. It's just one of those things where Unleashed had a lot going for it. I would probably say, though, should we look at these super chats?
I think so.
I want to continue this for a little bit longer. We have them listed, guys. So we have them. Even if you send us super chats, don't worry. We have them locked and loaded, because some of them are interesting questions here that we definitely want to spend some time with.
We'll get to all of them.
We absolutely will.
If we are still talking like remaster for Colors versus something like Unleashed, I guess it has been a hot minute since I've played Unleashed, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I will say, like, I guess if I had to compare it again to something else, I know Zelda, for example. You take something like Ocarina of Time, and you can make little tweaks here and there that really aren't like anything crazy. Like, oh, now you can swap the iron boots at the touch of a button. It solves so many issues with the water temple just from that alone. But that's a thing of input. If you're talking about structure, Skyward Sword has a lot bigger problems, because that game is just...
How many times did you fight the same boss trying to pick at its toes?
The same lame boss. You go to the same 3 areas through the entire game. It's all on loop. Everything is just a straightforward path. It's more on rails than Spirit Tracks. It's just, and that's all a structural thing. You can't just change that in a remaster. No. And that's, I think, the problem with Unleashed that it has. Now, Pup, I like the idea that you're saying, do something like some of the other ports did, is like have more side missions and everything where you can kind of do some extra side missions to get like the medallions that you need. You can basically skip over certain sections and stuff like that.
They don't even have to add it. They're in there. They just need to make that the mandate, as opposed to like what they did with the hero tokens in Spider-Man 2, the game. You do it by completing missions.
But it does kind of speak to a certain level of quality if the solution is to basically make it easier to bypass half the freaking game. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, it's not substantial though. It depends what you're bypassing. If you're just bypassing a bunch of,
if you're just bypassing collectibles, like if so, I think
because it's backtracking. That's
like,
all.
Think of a Wind Waker. How the HD version had you cut down on how many Triforce pieces you have to collect. I think that's what ultimately that's the solution, is mitigating the extreme amount of gatekeeping between a couple of those levels there.
Yeah, because that's
Sun and Moon medals.
Because that was a huge thing with like a lot of. It wasn't even just Wind Waker back then. So many games used that system of like, let's make sure that there's X amount of things you must do before you can get to the next level, instead of just letting people play the game and enjoy the game. Even like other great games like Metroid Prime did that, where they just like threw a whole bunch of random collectibles in and said, okay, you don't get to the final boss until you collect all these. And and it's never been a good thing. It's always been a thing that we've wanted just stripped out of those games.
But I mean, like, it's a little bit more forgiving in Prime because it incentivizes you to collect things as you go through the rest of that adventure. When it comes to Unleashed, I mean, again, like, that's not entirely true. The Triforce pieces are like its own isolated thing, and therefore I would say a bigger problem than even what Unleashed was doing there.
Well, even there,
the thing I'll say though is, like, Zelda is much more suited to it, whereas Sonic just, especially like for the moon medals in the day stages, it completely flies in the face of the gameplay style. It doesn't belong. It doesn't mesh.
That is exactly the point I was going to make. Zelda and Metroid are franchises that are specifically built around exploration. Now, to a degree, I think Sonic is too. One of the best things about it as a platformer is that it rewards you going off the beaten path and just running straight ahead. If you explore those levels a little bit, you find faster and more interesting ways to get through levels. You find secret rings where you can get Chaos Emeralds and stuff like that. So if you're translating the best aspects of a 2D game over to 3D, I can see why it seems like there's merit to grinding out through like a werehog stage to find more medals, that sort of thing.
That's a base they've covered as well, because
the
you
red
can
rings,
collect the videotapes and the art books.
There's already good collectibles
rewards
in
there. I think what happened was Sega wanted to reward replaying for a game where it's already packed to the brim with replay value and rewards for doing so. I think the Sun and Moon medals are just completely unnecessary. I mean, at worst, I think what they could do is just cut down on that mandate. Just make it so that rather than collecting 30, you just got to collect like 7.
Yeah.
That will be enough. But I still think the mission structure is much better.
I also think that I heard a pop and then Pup died.
I did too.
That was weird.
Yeah.
And go on, Nick, sorry.
No, I agree. I don't think I mean, the long and short of it is this. Wind Waker and even Skyward Sword can get away with these remakes, and they can get away with the budgets for it. I don't know if Sega would be willing to put that much money into bringing Unleashed back on any substantial level. But if they did, if you like, just cut back on some of the medal requirements. Maybe if you can tweak the speed of the werehog a little bit, make him a little bit quicker. I don't know how game development works, but like if you just did a few tweaks.
He's got the run button. He's got the run button, which I only really discovered late in the game when I first played it.
But my problem with the werehog is, and again, like you've pointed out before, like they don't do a really good job kind of explaining some stuff to you at the beginning of the game. And I think everybody now knows after a decade later, like, put all of your experience points into the werehog, just so it gets to a more reasonable place. Because when you start that game, it is so slow, it is so weak, and it is such a slog, especially compared to Unleashed. And if they actually just owned that they're cloning God of War and just put some real power into every swing like that, I think they would have done. I think it would have gone down a little bit smoother if it just felt like impactful and powerful. But as it is, technically, regular ass Sonic is more powerful than the Werehog because he just zips by, he homing attacks one robot, and it's dead. It's gone. As opposed to Werehog at the start of the game, got to punch it over and over and over and over and over again. Where regular Sonic would just blast on through these things.
Well, not to mention there's another
thing of
you could. Sorry, you could take the beat 'em up component out of the Werehog's levels. You'd still have solid platformer levels. So I'd say you could even reduce that a little bit too. But I feel like maybe it's making it a bit too easy. Maybe do like a easy, medium, and hard mode for Werehog or something. Like that would also, I think, make a big difference.
I do
think that if sorry.
I was just going to say that I've been watching some of the speedrun stuff for Sonic Unleashed, and some of the ways that the Werehog is used by speedrunners is something that I think needs to be just like part of that main game, because watching a runner just bypass a lot of the enemies by just like zipping around the levels using the Werehog's physics, that makes me want to play the Werehog. You've got me a brawler, but he's a brawler who can jump, he can run, and he's got really stretchy arms. That should translate to like really, really good and fun platforming tricks, and you can do them. It's just there's so much forced focus on the combat. Watching speedrunners just like ignore 90% of the combat sections in that game it's really, really fun to watch, and I think that it shows what the Werehog's potential could have been.
What really drives me crazy about the design there, and I'll let you go in a second, Wayne. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're
but
good.
like, I just keep thinking about this. Like, the one thing, like, when the initial trailer dropped, it just kept getting stupider and stupider to me. Like, why is he a Werehog? And on top of that, he's got stretchy arms. Like, this is the dumbest thing. It's like, fine, they're gonna integrate that into moment-to-moment gameplay, and that really was just there to replicate the Blades of Chaos from God of War. They weren't there to like add a different kind of momentum or like some stretch, like some really interesting physics could have played out with that, and they never utilize it.
Yep.
It drives me crazy.
The most they use it for is ledge grabbing.
Yeah.
And that's my thing is like, actually, like you guys were talking about, you gotta give the Werehog, you gotta do more than like justify his existence in the game, and you gotta do more than, and this is kind of getting more into, I guess, how the level structure should have been rather than how you can just tweak it. But you gotta make him be able to do some things that Sonic just can't get away with. Like Nick, you were saying, he's not really much more versatile as a fighter than regular Sonic, who can just get through enemies very, very quickly. So there's no benefit there. There has to be something that the Werehog can do that normal Sonic simply can't. A lot of those platforming challenges, oh man, if you really leaned in on that and made some really impressive obstacle courses, you've got some thrilling Werehog gameplay that really just helps make him not just something you have to get through or skip through or just kind of endure until it's over. Give me something that I can be excited about to play with the Werehog with.
It drives me nuts, man. Like when we get a Sonic that is infected with dark energy. We don't get a Jack 2 situation. We get a puppy dog. It's just why?
He has the exact same personality.
With those stretchy arms, there's one thing that I thought about. So everybody here enjoys Spider-Man games. Just being able to
Trey. I'm watching Trey's comments. We'll get to it in a second. But yeah, go ahead.
Just being able to like zip around areas, being able to zip around a city is fun. As somebody who's put in a ludicrously dumb amount of hours into Monster Hunter Rise, Sonic's stretchy arms in that game could easily operate the same way the wire bug does in Monster Hunter, where it just shoot it up somewhere, grab onto something, and just let momentum carry you forward. That's such a thrilling feeling in Spider-Man games. Incorporating that into Sonic, it can't be that hard, and it would be really fucking fun. I wouldn't mind seeing Werehog revisited for that.
One thing I would say, though, is if we're talking like an Unleashed remaster, the things I was putting forward, I was just trying to keep them within the realm of what I think is realistic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted to talk a full Werehog overhaul, there's 1,000,001 ideas that could be thrown on the table and stuff like
You're
that.
right.
So I think,
and that's the sad thing is I think you were definitely coming at this with a very pragmatic approach, Pup, and I admire that. It's just simply I guess I want something different, and unfortunately, it's almost like an entirely different half of the game.
It's one of those things where it's like my idea for a Sonic Unleashed remaster would not please people that didn't already like it. Although I don't know, because I think like another thing I wanted to implement was Sonic Generations controls for the daytime Sonic, because one thing I noticed when going back to Unleashed was, man, he controls very, very slippery in that one.
Oh yeah.
Compared to Generations, they really improved it. I didn't realize how much they improved it, but I think that's one thing where it's like maybe people that had so much trouble controlling even just the normal Sonic back in the day would be able to come back to one with Generations controls and be like, well, this is tight. This is great. Like, I think another thing that might have even ignited some love for Sonic Unleashed again might have been the Unleashed project in Generations, because you play through those levels, but with all of the amazing controls of Sonic Generations, and it's like, this is what the game was, right? And then you go back to the actual game, and it's like, oh, it does feel a little slippery. It's got to be said. Also, I'm going to straight up say, the XP system for Sonic is not necessary.
No, Jesus.
No, not at all. Get rid of that.
Just have like in Generations and have unlockable treat stuff like Supersonic maybe. Another thing worth noting is we mentioned like a structural change and everything. But do you guys know that Sonic Colors Ultimate is having a structural change?
Yeah, I think it might be a good time because we are just talking about Unleashed as it is, I think that's a good transition into. I'm very confused about colors, man. I'm very, very confused. So yeah, Pup, why don't you go ahead and
let's
tell us.
Let's see what stuff we're getting about colors. Let's go.
So one structural change they've made is that I think you can play the act within the zones in any order now, because it's got like a % completion thing at the top left. And if you look at the gameplay videos, all of the stages are available. So I think that it's going to be like you still unlock them in the same order. So you get Tropical Resort, then Sweet Mountain, and then the rest, basically. But I think you can now basically kind of prioritize what order you want to play them in. I'd say that's a cool idea, provided you get a little preview of what that stage is going to be, maybe, when you select it. Because I like the idea of maybe structuring it so it's like, okay, I'll play the busy work stages, like the Yellow Spring stages and stuff like that first, and then I'll do the fun stages. Like, I think that's a good way of going about it. But then how does the boss work?
I doubt they're going to do that. I think you're probably just looking at a demo that just has things ready to go for people to just pop in and check out. I mean, be interesting, but I mean, I feel like, and I don't disagree completely just because of the other changes I'm seeing in this game. I feel like that's not really solving the problem of those levels specifically. And everything I've been seeing about colors this past week, I don't really understand what they are doing to the core gameplay itself. It feels, a lot of this stuff feels very needless and very, very, very pointless.
Everything so far has been like, we're gonna tweak the lighting engine a bit. We're gonna slap on some different textures over here. We're gonna add the Tails medallions just kind of haphazardly through the stages. And I mean, I'm not opposed to the Tails medallions. I don't care. Like, game has bottomless pits. Give us a way to avoid those.
I don't think those are Tails medallions. Because the Tails tokens are the giant Tails heads. The medallions, I believe, are tokens, so you can get a turn in the Rival Rush. So it's like, to do Rival Rush, you have to insert a token. It's like an old arcade machine in that way. So you collect the tokens throughout the game.
Do we have any? Because I know you've done a lot more research on colors than I have this week. Have you seen anything that might indicate that specifically in terms of like any of your sources?
I'm going off of a YouTube comment. I'm not going to lie. Another thing I'm going to note, though, is the reason why I think they're doing the progression differently is because this wasn't on the original, but when you go to those little hub map thingies, now has a progress meter. So it says how much you've progressed through this this stage, basically. How much you've progressed through, like, Tropical Resort or whatever. That's not there on the original. So I don't know if it is just a demo thing or if there really is, like, a new progression system. If there is, though, I'm game for it. Like,
I'm seeing several comments here that are saying the tokens are for cosmetics.
Yeah, same here. And I would not be surprised in the slightest because everything's been incredibly surface level. And I expected that, but I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're making a very easy game easier. And I'm fine with that because I don't like pits. but also like it's just like making baby mode for this baby game, and I don't get it, and I also don't get like some of the lighting that they're doing there. I get it, it's a little bit more realistic, but it's also a fucking
Realism is overrated.
It doesn't even need to be realistic. It's
actually...
like, why aren't the light sources just blaring colors at us anyway? It's a fucking carnival in the sky. Like, why wouldn't everything be obnoxiously lit already? Real world Vegas looks ridiculous.
I am in 100% agreement. I think that because I've been seeing some of the new lighting and everything. Yeah, sure. I think it's more realistic, especially if you look at like actual theme parks that are like at night and everything. It looks more in line with that. But screw that. Like if I'm playing a game about a 4-foot tall hedgehog, I'm not worried about realistic lighting. I want something vibrant. I want something that's, taking advantage of this fantastical idea of a theme park in space. Give me those crazy sci-fi light sources that just blare into my eyes. Like, go nuts with it. Give me some color.
But why would it doesn't have to be one or the other. Sorry, go ahead,
Tropical Resort seems to be the only stage that I think people are saying really suffers from the new lighting engine. From what I've seen.
No. No, we've gotten more. There's I don't know what the stage is called, but like we're seeing like some of the areas just completely sapped of color. Like there was this blue hallway that's now gray, stuff like that. And yeah, like Trey says here, Sonic looks like a glow stick in Ultimate. It's more than just that. Like I don't know what they're doing. Like they took his mouth off from what I'm seeing there, and like the color, like the shading does not reflect off of Sonic in a realistic manner. Like he looks completely out of place from everything else that's happening on the screen part of the time. His mouth is always glowing yellow. It's super weird.
I mean, okay, I can't speak for that, but like what I've seen, I'm on board with. Like I saw like the Tropical Resort, which a lot of people weren't on board with, but I honestly liked it. I liked how the signs felt more layered, and they kind of having the signs be bright, but the rest of the park be a little darker, kind of allowed it to feel more like it pops a little bit more layered, but that's just me. Another thing, though, I will say, though, is the new homing attack system, I think, is a really clever move. Like, I like the new homing attack. Do you guys know about this?
No. Do we have any official confirmation they're actually doing anything with it?
It's in the gameplay videos. Basically, if you time it just right, a green reticle shows up, and if you hit it then, you get a little rainbow effect on your homing attack, you gain boost.
That's nice. Sound. I actually really like that as a change.
As far as rewarding boost, yeah. I would like that. I
like the music remix as well. The one thing I don't like is that I'm hearing spring sound effects come out of absolutely everything at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dash pads do it. The rainbow rings do it. They all make the spring sound, and I don't get why.
I mean, the dash pads made spring sound effects back in Sonic 2. That was kind of that's just an old thing.
No, but he's saying they're all sharing the exact same sound effect, and they've never done that before.
I get that they did in Sonic 2, but Sonic 2 is irrelevant. That game is literally a million billion years old. There's no reason to go back to the Sonic 2 way of doing sound effects.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't in colors, why would it be any different now?
Yeah, exactly. Mm. That's the main. The other thing is the cutscenes. We've got some images of the cutscenes, and they're using the original lighting engine in the cutscenes. They look exactly like the Wii ones. They've just been upscaled to 4K, and it looks like they've been upscaled in like an app or something, because like they're clearly running on a different engine. So I think that's a bit strange.
That doesn't strike me as very strange.
But Jesus, why was that so loud?
Yeah, what the hell? I heard myself echo with that. That's weird.
Yeah, you're getting there's a lot of feedback.
Well. Is it working better now?
Yep, there you
go. Okay.
Man, I don't know why they're making the changes they're making. They are tweaking stuff that really did not need it for the original game. The vibrant colors, I mean, on the Wii, that looked amazing, and I would have expected on an HD port, it really would have made the colors pop. Literally nobody's ever complained about the soundtrack. Nobody.
Okay, but I really like the new soundtrack. Like, I love what I've heard of Sweet Mountain. It sounds much cleaner to me. I like the new Tropical. I like the new one, and there's an option to switch it off. So, like, if you prefer the old one, you can.
So, do they have the original in there?
Yeah, it's in there. There's
Okay.
going to be
Yeah.
an option.
Which I always like. I see that happen with a lot of remasters where they'll add in like a new soundtrack and everything. CTR remaster did that. The Spyro remaster did that.
Final
where it's
Fantasy
like you can
X
just
did
switch
that.
on the older. Yeah, you can just switch on the
feels
older
like they're
audio
doing.
tracks.
It feels like it's not perfect, but it feels like they're making a good effort to make Sonic Colors Ultimate separate from Sonic Colors in that regard. Make it more than just an upscaling of the previous one, but have some things in there for, people that I guess have played it on Dolphin in 60 frames per second and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I also recognize that there are some flaws here and there that I think they can even out before the release date. There's still a couple of months left in development, and you'd be surprised what difference a couple of months can make. No, it can.
I will at least say that, like, even if there's some changes that I don't 100% agree with, it's like they're putting more effort into this game that they're planning to sell for $40, trying to make it like stand out as a new version of this title versus Nintendo. I feel like that's getting into an age-old debate of Sega versus Nintendo, but I don't like that we'll get these ports of old Mario games that are a full $60 just because Nintendo's Nintendo like that, and they make the most minuscule, tiny, innocuous changes possible just to justify the fact that they're releasing it again. Like, at least with Sonic Color Ultimate, I feel like there's effort going in here. I feel like there's a bit of passion going on, and I can respect that.
All right, fuck it. I'm going to be negative, Nick. I completely disagree with both of you guys severely. I think this is the bare minimum to excuse a re-release of this thing. This feels lazy. This feels slapdash. This feels fairly pointless, if I'm honest with you. Like, if you're going to be bringing this game back, I would have expected a little bit more here and not cause new problems. A re-release should not cause new problems. I don't care what it is. If you're making it lesser on any level, then why are you bothering? How does this game somehow look worse than the original in some aspects? That makes zero sense to me. Like, literally, Sonic the Hedgehog. How do you not fix that up here? Let me finish my point. Okay. When you're making something like this, you've had 10 years to listen to fan feedback to see what would make us come back to this game in any substantial level, and what they're instead adding is things that nobody's ever asked for. Like, we don't need a tail system. I'd love to see Tails again, but I don't see why they're doing it. We don't need a new soundtrack. I'm glad it's there. I love new remixes, but again, we don't need it. Like, if you really wanted to get me back into this game, do what Pub said from the get-go. Like, yeah, why don't you bring in the Generations model? Like, why don't you add a little bit more in terms of animation? Like, I'm still seeing, and it's driven me crazy since the original, and I know it's a silly thing, but it just goes to show, in my opinion, like, how little they're actually doing to this thing. Is that glowing rainbow dash, like when he dashes, and like it's flat animation that stays on the ground, but it stays flat when he's in the middle of the air. Like, it looks like it's do you know what I'm talking about? Like, that animation?
Oh, I know exactly what. Yeah, no, it's a bit awkward.
And like, I don't know why. Like, it doesn't take that much to just swap that out with just a basic animation. And again, this is a weird thing to be upset about. But like, have you guys noticed, like, at the end of the levels when he hits the wisp containers, like, there's a severe lack of wisps coming out of that compared to the original. Like, they used to just flourish out, and they masked that because they're just flat 2D sprites.
Yeah, they're just PNGs.
And they would mask that. Well, they would just mask that with like a whole flourish of them, and like, you can accept it because it's the Wii. It's not as powerful, and they just mask that by putting a bunch of them there, and they don't even do that anymore. It's the same PNGs, but now it's like just fucking 5 of them coming out, and it's just a shotgun porn shot as opposed to just a little dribble. Like, not into it. Should have fluffed the boy. You know what I mean?
You know what I think has happened?
No, you know what? I see your point, Nick.
If they had just put in the DS version on the side, not remake the levels, nothing that substantial, even as lazy as just like screen on top of other screen, and just slap that as a bonus in there, like that would have been enough. But instead, what we're getting is like no, we're putting this in, we're dropping this because the Sonic movie did well. And just to emphasize that, we're going to put more of these shitty baby Sonics that are literally not even the right design, and we didn't sell through last time, so we're just going to stuff them in the box here. Like,
Baby
this is
Sonic
a
never
lazy
looked
fucking
good.
port.
Baby Sonic is horrifying.
I think there's a lot also just worth noting though, is I think what might have happened, and if it comes out in this state and like the whole Wisp Flourish thing is still a problem when it's released, then yeah, like it deserves the scrutiny. But I think realistically, there's probably a lot of animations that are all ready and prepared, but just haven't been programmed into those demos just yet.
But that's not how game animation. That's not how that works. It's out in September.
Yeah,
they've delayed that another year to add.
They would have already finished all of that.
They might have the animation. They might have some things ready to go that just aren't.
Why hold it off this long and then show it off now if it's not ready to go with literally 3 months left to go?
So
it is way too late.
Now is the time to do this stuff. I think
now
there's a lot that will be improved.
Now's the time to prepare vertical slices that lie to you and say this game's better than what it already is, and they can't even manage that.
I do want to highlight a comment here just because I thought this was a little strange. Sorry if this is a little off topic, but we are still talking about remakes and ports. Demetrius NP, so how would you fix Skyward Sword without changing the game? I feel like I already addressed this. You can't. The game is just broken on its fundamental basis. I don't think Sonic Colors is. That's the difference here.
Even then, though, like in terms of Skyward Sword, they're doing what they need to do. Like they just made it look nice on an HD screen. They allowed you to use something outside of the Wiimote, and while it is barred behind an amiibo, don't get me wrong, I'm not spending money on the Skyward Sword remake. I think that's bullshit what they're doing there. But like the amiibo gets you to and from the sky, and like they're
and good luck getting that amiibo.
Thing.
That might as well not be a feature that exists in the game at all because it's locked behind a piece of plastic. Nobody's going to be able to get their fucking hands on it, and then they are charging $25 for it. That is not a good thing. That is exclusively negative.
Is that not kind of the same thing though with colors? They're making it look good on HD screens because the original wouldn't. People tend to forget that game only ran in 480p, and like they're reselling it. You don't have to play it on a Wiimote now. You can play it on whatever console you want. I think the priority with this game wasn't necessarily to make Sonic Colors everything it ever could have been. I think it was to get that missing piece of Sonic media onto the consoles that missed out. And
But that's the point of why do you call it Ultimate then? Like, why do it at all then?
Well, Nick made a really good point here because it looks worse than the Wii version.
Yeah, it looks worse.
In a few minuscule places, it looks worse. But for the most part, it undeniably looks better.
I think people are being dramatic here, dude. I think like people that are like nitpicking this are like, look, his model is technically worse. He's glowing yellow. When you design something, when you get somebody in there to redo assets and stuff like that, you need to understand why those assets work together to begin with. And when I look at this stuff, they didn't understand the core design of that initial game. They're just changing the lighting for the sake of changing lighting. They're not doing it to emphasize the beauty of this place. Again, it doesn't need to be this or the other. It doesn't need to be realistic or not realistic. You can make those colors pop and add new light sources. And my arms are waving back here. You guys can't even see it. Like, I'm so energized right now. But it doesn't need to be this or that or the other. We should not have to nitpick to find reasons to like this thing. And we shouldn't have to make excuses for this. I'm so fucking tired of doing this for Sonic. I'm so fucking sick of it. And I'm so tired that they took one of the good games that everybody liked when it was just fine back then. I don't give a fuck about the fan base now. Because now they're just giving them reasons to dislike this game more. How the fuck do you fuck up a good game again like they did with Sonic GBA? I'm sick and tired of them doing this.
Calm down. Calm down. You're an adult. Calm down.
I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to talk about this.
Calm down. You're getting a little exasperated.
No, I don't think anybody has ever calmed down when somebody's told to calm down.
That's exclusively a way to get someone to not calm down.
Yeah, I'm trying to entertain people here, okay?
I will say, just to kind of emphasize Nick's point here, like Puppy, you were saying that in a few minuscule places it looks worse. I disagree with that entirely. So, I think that the places where it looks okay, let's take those whips coming out for an example. That's something that you pay specific attention to on repeat playthroughs. Say if there was a remake of Sonic Adventure 1, if they do something new to the way the success screen at the end of a level plays out, I'm going to notice that more than the nice new textures on the wood bridge in the beginning level of Emerald Coast. Like, sure, even if you want to talk lighting sources and everything like that, that's all stuff that's going to blend in eventually. We can talk about like how the realism and colors and everything, whether it's better or worse than before. That's something that's going to blend in, and we're not really going to notice that while we're playing. But if we're talking about the big cosmetic changes that are supposed to get your attention, if they are actually less impressive and in fact look worse than the 10-year-old Wii title, that's kind of a bad thing.
And it makes me worried for the Origins collection too. Honestly,
why would you worry about that? It's literally the same game in 16:9.
Plus, that's being handled by people that care.
Because look at that
Let me
trailer.
elaborate. Let me elaborate on why I think Sonic Colors Ultimate looks better. Basically, if you look at a lot of side-by-side images, everything is higher poly now, including Sonic's model. I still recognize that he's very luminous. Before you cut in with that, I still recognize there are faults with it, and there shouldn't be there. I get it. Also, like, all of the level locations are higher poly. Sonic is higher poly. You look at the back of his quills, they no longer have those weird dots that they had on the Wii version where the geometry doesn't match up quite right. You look at all of the textures, they've now got bump maps. They're now all in 4K. The majority of this game, objectively speaking, is of a higher quality now. The things
what
like
do you think
animation
higher poly is?
Higher polygon count.
Are you seeing? I've not seen that.
I've not seen any higher polygon counts.
I can literally find you a comparison image between Tropical Resort, the old version and the new version. You see a lot of the arches and stuff are now round, where they used to be very jagged and stuff like that. Sonic's model is now much more curvaceous as opposed to being jagged. Like, it is better on that front. Now, I get it. Sonic is too luminous. He does look like a push pop now. I agree. And I think, they would benefit a lot from reducing that. Another thing that leads me to say, though, that we can't know exactly how this game is going to look upon release is that some videos in the end screen, his facial expression changes when he does his little pose, and in others, it doesn't. And I've seen people complaining that, he doesn't change his facial expression on the results screen. Yes, he does, because it's in other videos. So we're clearly seeing different versions. I get it. They're showing the game. If that's the case, they're showing the game in a state that doesn't really do what's best for this game. I get it. But I'm just so I get what you guys are saying. But I'm going to say this. Let's not dismiss the entire validity of this remaster based on some wisp flourishes and Sonic looking a little strange. It's got faults. All right. I fully stand by that. I still insist that doesn't negate worth of this remaster in its current state, even. Even in its current state right now, I would still say it's a justifiable purchase. The Baby Sonic keyring, I know he didn't look like that in the movie, but I fucking want it. Because have you seen how detailed those things are up close? They look great. They're really expensive to buy online right now, so I fucking want one. And COVID played a huge role in those not selling because they were supposed to be going out with movie theater gift bags.
But the point is that has nothing to do with Sonic Colors.
Rival Rush as well.
It does literally have nothing to do with Sonic Colors, though.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
So
it does. Why at all? Why do Sonic Colors at all?
Because they're just trying to make some kind of crossover between the film and the game. I feel like ultimately they're marketing this to new audiences, and what we've got here is some diehard fans who are in their late 20s, 30s saying, I don't approve of this. But the reality is the majority of this game is doing just fine. And I think this is going to be a good marketing strategy for Sega. And I think I would definitely rather have what they're doing here than they just upscale the Wii version and add nothing to it and sell it for a $60 price tag like what Nintendo would do.
What I would prefer is just upscaling the original and packaging it with these other games and do what they did with Gems, which was, no, the game isn't perfect. I'm talking about Sonic, or Sonic the Fighters, but they at least put the PC version in there where there's some little cosmetic changes and the controls are tweaked slightly, and it comes together in a beautiful package that celebrates everything these games did individually.
But this feels for the same reason.
But why not?
Made for that reason. It's not made for kids, newcomers to the Sonic franchise that just got out of the movie to pick up and be like, where do I even fucking begin here? Do I want to play the one with the werewolf or the one with the aliens or the one with the two Sonics in it? What do I want here? They picked just one game which has one Sonic playstyle with some power-ups. Still, they picked just one. And listen, you got to remember, I was the most cynical guy about this project at the start. I was the one saying, I didn't want this, and I was literally the one, saying that it looks worse in the trailers and previews. I've done a lot of thinking about like the business meanings behind this and stuff. This Sonic Colors is universally considered a good game for kids to pick up and stuff. They've made it more available now. They've made it available for current consoles. The price isn't too high. It's had some cosmetic improvements, some downgrades as well. For the most part, improvements. And kids are going to love it. They're going to love it. Newcomers to the franchise are going to love it. And they're going to love it so much more than having a compilation of games where they can say, well, that's got some problems. That looks a bit primitive. That looks a little bit dated. It's all for the sake of accessibility on the biggest scale possible.
Yeah,
and
I
Sonic
fucking
Rangers
know.
is the one for us.
I don't think we've ever disagreed with that point. Like that's
yeah.
But I don't think you guys are taking that into account with some of your points. Is
We
why I have to say.
absolutely are.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean we can't critique what they're doing with an old game.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying let's not overreact and throw out everything that this remaster does well, all because we're unhappy that Sonic looks a bit too glowy or that there's a lack of wisp flourishes.
So the thing is that okay, so for me, I'm looking forward to this game coming out actually, and I'm not as down on it as I may come across just because I'm pointing out the flaws that I do think exist. So my point is that if you're bothering to do this at all, and if you want to make the argument that they're just making this for kids, and I want to point out it's kind of boiling it down to the most cynical like state of being that it could be if you're just saying, oh, it doesn't matter for what the old fans think about this or the people that grew up with it or anything like that.
That's not what I was saying. Let
me finish my point here. It's that if you're bothering to make this and you're bothering to market it as the ultimate version of this game, then make it the definitive version of this game. Go all out on all aspects and everything. If there's parts of it that feel like they are lesser in some degrees, that deserves to be pointed out. I mean, Wind Waker HD had a very similar problem. I'm sorry, I keep going back to Zelda remakes. It's just kind of what I know.
That's a good example, though.
Yeah, because the Bloom engine in that game really fucked the graphical style up a lot.
Oh yeah, no, and like you were saying, Pup, yeah, the models are higher polygon count, it's all higher res, it's all in HD, and everything like that. But the issue was the GameCube version still looks better, lower polygon count, lower resolution, and all because it had a better art style. And in some areas,
I understand how that works. It's like Generations to Forces. Like Generations is lower poly than Forces, but it's still a better looking game.
And that's my thing is that I just personally feel like a higher polygon count for these models and everything is just, it really doesn't matter to me. And I would almost rather just kind of a standard port. If you're not going to be making changes that really significantly matter, if it's going to be little things like these strange Tails moves or the weird cosmetics and stuff like that.
I think the Tails thing I'm very much in support of the Tails thing because
I like it as a concept. It just seems so. So I actually want to backtrack on that one. On that particular point, I think maybe I don't have anything against the idea. I just think it's so strange to add it into a pre-existing game in retrospect. I feel like it would work better in like a later title on its own merit.
I think it's also redundant if they're taking out the life system.
Well, because at that point you're just taking out the lives to add Tails lives, and they're functionally going to be doing a similar thing just for exclusively bottomless pits.
Well, not even that. Yeah, it makes it a little bit way easier. And I don't hate that too. Like Pup, you played this game way more not frequently, but more recently than I have. And I'm sure I'm going to get grumpy with that because I hate bottomless pits in Sonic games. But
yeah, Sonic Colors has a huge bottomless pit problem, like more so than your average 3D Sonic game. If you ask me what I would have done, I would have put spike beds and springs on the lower layer of the level, so you can always get back up if you need to, but you're still punished with some spikes. I'll take the Tails save thing. Like I would rather that than it just be a straight up bottomless pit. And as it is, these Tails save thingies are still things you have to search for. So there is still some hunting involved.
I'm also going to say
I'm kind of indifferent.
I found the image that you were talking about, Pup, the one that shows the the difference between the poly counts and the archways and everything. I don't know if this is a model smoothing trick, because if you're familiar with Blender, you know that you can take a low poly model and you can smooth it artificially. So I don't know if this is a poly smoothing trick or if it is a higher poly count. I want to say it's a poly smoothing trick, but I do see what you're seeing when I look at the comparison between the original Tropical Resort and the new one. Do I like the lighting in the new one? No, I think the lighting in the new one's muted. I think it's dumb. But I see what you're saying, because it's not just the archway. It's also everything around you, but it's because everything around you looks like it has higher poly count, and I don't think that the studio actually did that. It makes me think that it is a model smoothing technique. Now, granted,
maybe like a shader.
Yeah, and
but they did add tails, so they do have new assets in the game directly,
and
but,
they have new voice
I've
lines because Tails doesn't shut the fuck up.
Can I also mention?
Oh,
I
dear.
think you can switch off the Tails navigation thing. That was always in the original as well. They've just added more to it.
It just seems like they're adding more safety rails to this game.
As long as they're optional, it's no big deal to me. It's all for the sake of making it accessible.
I think for a game like Sonic, having optional like difficulty, things like that, I feel like I would prefer if it wasn't the default. Is that's like the tail safe thing is something that you can activate rather than it just being there. I guess it's just sort of like a semantic thing. It doesn't really matter which comes first, the chicken or the tails egg. But if it's optional, it's not that big of a deal.
Another thing I do want to note is looking at this comparison image. This left one is still not an accurate representation of how the Wii game looked because it's still in HD. This is a
it's a scaled up dolphin
for sure. Yeah,
we already know
another
that.
thing I just want to mention is this is where the subjectivity comes in. I prefer the right one. The left one's a fucking eyesore compared to the right one. It's one thing for it to be more colorful, but more colorful doesn't mean better. I think the right one makes better use of its colors. It's got a much nicer palette to it. It's much easier on the eyes. And I get that you're not really looking for realism in a Sonic game, but it is just more logical this way. I like it better. I'm sorry.
I think what's going to have to happen... Sorry, Wayne, one sec. I think what's going to have to happen with this is we are going to have to sit down, and because Pup, you and I did this with Sonic Heroes before. And I actually liked when we did that with Sonic Heroes. For those who don't know, me and Pup did a thing where we disagreed on some of the fundamentals on Sonic Heroes, so we just sat down in a stream together and just played Sonic Heroes live just to formulate our thoughts live in front of an audience. It was a fun thing. I want to do it again for other games. I think for colors, what's going to happen is we're going to need to sit down and play them both in motion, because what I'm thinking is going to end up happening, and maybe I'm wrong here, but even though I don't like the changes to colors, I do agree that the new palette is better used. I like, at least in the photo that I'm looking at, I like that it looks like there's individual lit up pieces of geometry instead of just a light bathing everything. What I think is probably going to have to happen is we're going to have to sit down and actually play these levels. And instead of looking at everything with a hypercritical eye through a YouTube video where we get to pause it and scan around everything and look at it in slow motion, I think it's going to be a matter of we need to sit down, play the game as it is, and then do an actual comparison between this and the original. And it is perfectly fair to scale up the original in a Dolphin emulator, not because that's how it was always supposed to look, but because the options would be between that scaled up version, as most remasters generally are, or this new, less saturated version that we're going to be getting. You'll be able to sit down on a PC and do both. I think that would be a fair thing to do, especially live, just to figure out what our opinions actually are on there, because when we're looking at the stuff in still images, it looks like some mistakes were made. It looks like I can't see the grass textures as well on here, but also just remember the speed at which we're moving through these areas. None of that might end up mattering.
Look that's at the stars and look at the twinkly lights on the ceiling above and the twinkly lights on the lower parts and stuff. They've made it more luminous.
Yeah.
And I really prefer that.
Well, I also wanted to point out that this particular shot looks like it's taken right before you actually get into the area that's even lit up. So, like, once you go through that archway, everything probably is a bit more illuminated now that I'm taking a deeper look at it.
And
it's just that, like,
this.
zoomed...
Sonic looks better in it as well, honestly. Like, he's reacting to light more the way he would. He's smoother as well.
I can't tell a fucking difference. I think he looks like a glow stick.
I don't like the Sonic. I think
I don't either.
I think I like the use of the lighting for the environment. And I know that everybody in the chat can't really tell, but looking at it, I like the environment, the individual things that they've chosen to light up. I think it makes them pop. What I don't like Sonic. I've never liked plasticky Sonic, so I really don't like glowy plasticky Sonic. And
it's DX all over again.
I want my Adventure 1 and 2 grainy, almost furry textured Sonic back. I'm so tired of this hyper reflective plastic toy Sonic. And you know what? As much as and for those who haven't seen Nick's newest speed reading video, as much as I enjoy as much as I'd like to play the headcanon of every one of these levels is just another Robotnik scheme with his toys that we now know he keeps in his egg cave. Nice. I don't want to play a Sonic toy. I don't.
Yeah, that's I made a. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there because I thought I had a point, and then I was noticing that doesn't really connect all that well. So.
Okay, well let me say this. Just calm down from my drama because I'm more yelling about just the state of just remasters in general. Like I just get so tired of bringing games back and making them worse.
Oh yeah, no, Skyward Sword HD looks useless.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. But looking at these next to each other, I like them for different reasons. And I don't like that I have to pick one or the other. I think something that would be cool, and if they put the effort in, it would be really engaging. If we do have to go back to all of these acts again, I think it'd be kind of cool if they just mess with the lighting a little bit, because that second one, it is cool, like it from a nighttime aspect, but like if it's actually like a theme park, this looks like a theme park at night or a theme park that's about to close down. It doesn't look like it's lively.
I do agree with that.
This looks like a theme park where nobody's even there.
I mean, that's
take a look at the asteroid coaster pics I posted as well.
Yeah, that's
You see what I mean?
No.
Everything glows too much. It's weird. It's like the Bloom thing in Wind Waker HD again.
Well, no, like my problem
more
is
colorful or not. Like, what do you want from
what
this?
are you talking about? That's more colorful. Sonic's more colorful, but like I literally see less in the Ultimate background here.
So I think I'm talking more about like the specific things that are glowing. I like the rails. So like background elements here. Look at those eggs in the background and everything like that. Those are glowing up so much more in Ultimate Edition and stuff like that. It's just so weird that Sonic is a glow stick. I can't get over that.
I think
as long as he plays smoothly, I will get over my whining about like the aesthetic of everything, because like I will give you this, like going back and watching the gameplay stuff, I was like, even if you don't like the boost, like they really, in some aspects, not all of it, I'm not a big fan of the block platforming, but like some of the aspects when they really play with the boost, it looks like it's really clever level design, from hopping from rail to rail or having to go on the secret path to get a red ring. Like there's some really clever level design in there. As long as they don't fuck that up, I guess I'll live.
I think one of those things we'll need to address the super chats, by the way, because I get the feeling the people that post them are probably left by now, and it's quickly turned into a debate show.
That's us though, isn't it? Like that's what we do here, and I mean,
we've all
really
got differing opinions.
Like our back and forth, like are extremely different views on this project right now. And again, it's very interesting considering how bad you were shitting on it, especially on our Twitter. It's amazing that this is kind of what the song fan base is this past week, isn't it? Like this is the back and forth we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah, in regards to the Colors Twitter post, I wasn't shitting on it. I was just saying it's mostly 2D, which it is.
Well, I disagree, because I don't think you can get away with some of the mechanics that they were pulling off there. It's just not open, I can go anywhere 3D.
okay, it's 3D models based on a technicality.
It's 2.5.
It's still 2.5, dude. Like, you still need multiple layers of paths.
I meant the gameplay. Okay, let's go
too. Jesus.
Why are mommy and daddy fighting? Please go to your room and hate fuck.
Oh god. Your mommy, Nick. Me. I'm daddy.
Oh god, what am I?
You witch, you fucking elf. God damn it.
Wayne, you're doing your best.
I think at the end of the day, we can all agree that remasters are weird territory because it's always a tug of war trying to discover what you need to change, what you should leave the same. And at the end of the day, you're oftentimes having different teams coming in working on what other people did before, and they're standing on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as they can, and before they even know what they have, they patent it and they package it and they slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now they're selling it.
Yeah, I'm always down for a good Jurassic Park reference, unless it's Dan Sable reviews.
I love the fact...
Remember the Arkham remasters? That's like one of those times I'm like, yeah, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse.
Man, I don't know. When you throw Ultimate on there, I just wish they would have made this like the best it could be. And regardless of what the target audience is, I don't think it needs to be one or the other. That's what I keep saying. Like, it's a 10-year-old game. You're gonna bring old fans back, and I know you're grabbing that movie audience. But stop treating them like idiots. Sonic's always been for kids. You call it all ages, whatever. Gonna get triggered by that. It's meant for kids to pick up and have a good time with, regardless of how serious the story got or how rudimentary the original Genesis games were. Like, it's always been for kids.
And have some respect for the kids that are being marketed to as well.
Yes.
No, fuck kids. I hate kids.
Plus, like, if they're gonna spend so much time marketing on the nostalgia to older fans, the older fans get a say.
And
yeah.
That's why I think they should stop doing that.
I'm also...
And maybe that's the case. Well, maybe, I mean, we still don't know everything. Maybe that's what the Metal Sonic mode is for. Maybe there's more shit there to bring old fans back. But like when... Oh, God.
Can I just be a dick?
Yeah.
Please.
I'd never want to hear the "this isn't marketed to you" conversation ever again if all of us who this is supposedly not marketed to are the ones discussing it, promoting it, and also buying it. I never want to hear that argument ever again in my fucking life. Please and thank you.
Especially when it's an older video game.
Especially when it's something we've all grown into.
The producer makes the market.
Wait. Are we gonna talk about economics, pup?
Well, I mean, put it this way, right? No, but put it this way. It's like me saying, nah, fuck me, I'll swear on my content if I fucking want. And then people say, yeah, but most of your audience is kids. It doesn't change the fact I don't aim it for kids. It's not for kids just because kids watch it. So this isn't just for adults.
The difference here, though, is this is a franchise that adults play because they've grown up with it. And so we don't generally have to have these awkward conversations about Mario. Because the thing that Mario is, when people grow up, he still does well when people play it again as adults. Yet somehow
with Mario, there's
we end
nothing
up
to talk about.
Have you ever played like Super Mario 3D World, especially like the final areas? Because that shit's a challenge and it's great.
Yes.
Well, that's not what I mean. What I mean is like the whole thing with Sonic is the inconsistency. It is the fact that not every game is going to be a winner.
It doesn't have to be that way, though.
That's why I'm frustrated.
No, but that's Sonic. That's what Sonic is.
I don't care. It doesn't have to be that way.
That's not what Sonic should be.
No, but that's why people talk about Sonic still, is because that this is that hedgehog that doesn't know where to fucking stop, and he doesn't stay in his.
Do I have Game Apologist as my title? Are you kidding me? This is a game icon.
You're literally being the biggest game apologist right now.
He's partially still a gaming icon because he keeps people talking about him.
Why are you supporting messy design?
Like, here's the thing.
I'm supporting this hedgehog not staying in his lane and continuing to experiment.
I'm fine with him experimenting. Here's the thing I want. Here's the thing I want at the end of the day. I like video games. I like when video games are good and play well. I like when video games experiment and branch off. I do not think it is that much to ask, especially when some of the games in this franchise have a 4 to 5 year development time. I understand Forza specifically, we've got the Hedgehog 2 engine debacle for like 4 years. Don't care. Not a fucking excuse anymore at this point. I think that even when other games experiment, we don't have these same consistency issues all the time. Sonic does not need to have them. They are not. Jank is not an integral part of Sonic. It's become one on accident.
I agree with that.
Then why are you apologizing for it?
Not apologizing for that.
Okay.
You'll understand when I make my video on why Sonic 06 is Sega's messy masterpiece. It'll come, and then you'll understand.
Oh,
you might not agree, but you'll understand.
This was all an advertisement. We all got duped.
So fellas,
Jesus.
I want to go ahead and address a couple of super chats that have come in since the beginning of the podcast.
It really is time.
So we had Jamal Simmons, $5. What's your idea that Nintendo saved the day for E3 and Kazuya from Tekken and Smash Bros? Let's hear more B theory ?
So, bees go buzz. There we go. There's the beer theory.
Thought we'd do the Nintendo and E first.
I think so. Okay. I don't have any problem with Kazuya in Smash. I think that's fine. I think having more fighting game representation in Smash is good because one of the biggest arguments in the fucking fighting game community has always been, is Smash a fighting game or is it a party game? I literally did tournament operation for Smash Brothers in North Atlanta, and I had to deal with this conversation every day. Having more fighting game representation in the game is good on my part. Is it a character I would have chosen? No, I also don't care about that. We got Metroid Dread. That's all I fucking care about. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic.
That's I don't play Tekken. I don't particularly like it. I'm more of a Street Fighter MVC kind of guy.
I want a Soul Calibur rep.
Oh man. See, I don't play Tekken. I don't really know Kazuya. I wasn't hyped, but that's one of my favorite trailers they've had for a Smash reveal, and I'm happy that he's there because there are gonna be some people that are just absolutely thrilled about that, and I was happy with the roster as is.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just very accepting of who they have. I kind of wish I didn't spend the money on Season 2 because there's not anybody that really speaks to me. But, I mean, Tekken is a staple of the fighting game world, and it's very deserving. It all is just, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I brought in the kangaroo.
Everybody coming in with that Metroid Pog.
They could have also brought in Yoshimitsu, and then they could have been like, is it a Soul Calibur rep? Is it a Tekken rep? Who knows?
Bomber Blur. Metroid had a difficult transition to 3D.
Damn. Oh, man. We're still playing the way they do 3D nowadays, though. And then they try to do something different, and we told Team Ninja to fuck off. Now we're going back the other way.
Yeah. Man, it's funny because I think Metroid probably had one of the most standout and probably positive transitions over to 3D. I'm sorry, no, that's off topic. We're going off into a different direction. We also had another comment from Lady Sith, another $10. Actually, I'm sorry. It says "take my money." LOL. I'm pretty sure that was directed at you, Nick. And sorry, Pup, I didn't get your input on E3. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over you.
I only paid attention to Sonic.
Okay.
So I'm not a gamer. I'm a Sonic fan. I like some games though. Like that's the way it goes.
So what you're saying is, we need to get you into Metroid.
Yes.
What I'm saying is I don't have the time for this stuff between uni and everything else. I just do not have the time or energy.
Jaden XV, Metroid Prime is mid though. I'm so sorry that you're wrong. I won't be elaborating on that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. You're allowed to be stupid and wrong. It's cool.
And finally,
no,
that wasn't a super chat. That was just a comment.
Oh, give us money before making comments like that next time. Jesus.
Jerome McCullough, £2, I think that is. Is it?
That it is.
Okay. How do you feel about Chaotix not being in Origins?
Not good.
I think that it's a missed opportunity. It doesn't matter that it was not the most well-received game at the time. It matters that it's a piece of history, and it is a piece of Sonic's origins. And yet, it is not
I feel
there.
like it's a bit of a cop-out that they've got less games on this collection than they have a lot of the other collections, and I think Chaotix is very much a part of that. But what I would definitely say is I think the marketing towards this one, again, the purpose of this title is that it is the full 16:9 remasters of the originals, and that's just it. You're getting the best of the best and the best version of it, and I think that's the entire selling point with this one. It's not, trying to be that kind of compilation. So fair enough, provided they keep the price down.
And I am excited for it. I was actually... Yeah, I was planning on doing my reviews of the Sonic series and finally actually getting some Sonic content on my channel. But as soon as I saw the Origins collection was coming out, I'm just like, well, I guess I have to wait for that first.
Yep.
I mean, that was a very put together trailer, and heard stuff, so I'm interested to see what that becomes. So,
Jaden, is it Jaden XV or is it Jaden 15?
Hold on, you can't do me like that.
Jaden Fantasy 15. Let's go.
We love you. Thank you for your support. We're glad you're here.
Jaden, you rule, dude. That was a power move right there, dude. Holy cow.
That's great. That was fantastic.
Oh, mad respect for that. We had another. I'm not in front of the super chats anymore. What else did we have? Oh, that was about it, wasn't it?
That's pretty much it.
One last.
There's one more.
From our friend Trey Nobles, $5. Not gonna lie, I liked the setup from last week. Love y'all. Take my money, you beautiful people.
Trey, you just enjoyed being in a jar.
We love you, Trey.
I love Trey and Chowmix. They've been hanging out in the chat, and they had some very valid points. I would have been very interested to hear their thoughts about Chowmix there. Lady Sith is back with a puppy dog. I thought you went to bed. You said you're gonna go take a nap.
I'm taking that as a personal thing of support because it's a dog. So yeah, thank you, Lady Sith. That means that one's
no idea what the hell we're talking about. No matter how heated.
All I know is I've claimed that one.
She's like, okay, fucking Sonic.
It's worth noting. There is one topic, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking exhausted. But so there was an interview with Izuka-san at E3 about Sonic Rangers. He couldn't reveal much, but he did kind of give us a few deets. What he said was that Sega has been spending a lot of years or a lot of time testing out different gameplay styles for what the next big move is. And this next evolution of Sonic is what they plan to stick with for the next next 10 years or so. Is what they want to do is craft a new quintessential Sonic gameplay style with this one. So I still think it's going to be some form of boost, but it does sound like we're getting something a bit unique here. But at the same time, this was the man that described Sonic Forces as a brand new experience. So
yeah,
he's got to sell it. Yeah, I mean, he tried to spin Sonic 4. Like, who cares?
Yeah, it is what it is. But like, I don't know. I want to be optimistic about this stuff. I think I've really proven that. So yeah, that's that. Everything's going to be okay, Sonic fans. Relax.
Everything will be okay.
And take nothing for granted.
So, we have a history of Izuka basically copying what Nintendo does and kind of failing to live up to what that initial idea was. I'm very worried. I'm sure a lot of the people are as well. Yeah, I'm being pessimistic again. Is if these rumors are true that we're getting a Breath of the Wild Sonic, we're
getting Sonic Odyssey, everyone.
I would love. Well, I mean, but I would love to see them implement Sonic in an open world. I think all of us would. And yeah, like if he's speaking the truth, like, we're legitimately going to change this up and redefine what Sonic is going forward. Like, yeah, I'm fucking down with it. And even if it's a transitionary game like Unleashed was, like if we see, those sparks of brilliance in there, I'm going to be more happy than not. There's a big angry part of me that's still like 30 years, dog. Like you're not brand new with anything anymore. Like you should have this sorted out. But my major concern right now is if it is kind of reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, what are we going to see of Sonic if it's a lesser Breath of the Wild in a year we're getting another Breath of the Wild.
Especially since Breath of the Wild, that's one of my favorite Zelda games, but not even Zelda exactly hit that nail on the head.
But it's going to improve upon it. Like that.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It's a really good game. So even if there are like that's the thing that I get frustrated about is like when I see Nintendo try out new things, it's still usually pretty fucking good. And even when there's some like hiccups in there, they usually come back around and sort it out. Not every time. Nintendo's not perfect, but man, they know how to make a good fucking video game. And I get so frustrated with all the caveats we have to put in place when it terms of liking Sonic the Hedgehog. When I mean, I did as many videos about S3K as I did because it really was the cream of the crop. Like Nintendo really had to sweat when a new Sonic game was coming out, as opposed to being like, oh, I guess they saw what we did and we're gonna do it again. And I mean, I guess they technically did from the beginning, but I don't know, man. Like I'm nervous. I think it's going to be competent. I want it to be more than that. I want it to really be like, fuck you. Here's open world Sonic. It's changing the game for the entire genre. Because that's what Zelda did, you know? And that's what Sonic used to do.
Yeah. Why are you called Game Apologist again?
Because he talks about the good in good games. Wait, what?
Like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I need to make a very compelling case as to why this is a good game.
I'm going to be honest.
I told you on our personal chat, like I've been kind of regretting making that my channel name. That's always been the name of a show, not my title. I was thinking it's good. It's a good branding. That's why I thought, and it works.
You are Nick, the game apologist.
Advertising is what it is.
That's not false
it's always
advertising.
Meant to be a show.
He's got a few episodes of Game Apologist on his channel.
Yeah. But like, I mean, that's why I wanted to do more. I mean, it's obviously the overall branding, but like, I kind of regret not having a more of a blanket thing I could use instead of that, because I just wanted to be a show, and then Unapologetics another show, then Gamecation's another show, and Speed Reading's another show, and they're not really the same thing at all.
Like Game Blanket.
No, but I think it's very important to understand what games do wrong before we can really cherish what they do right. And I'm fine with doing that with games that have come out and have been out for a while. I'm not okay with just being, oh, you're okay, keep doing what you like, pat on the head, get back out there. Like, no. Like, if you're a loving parent, then you point out the flaws, like, no, learn from these mistakes and grow from them. And goddamn it, Sonic, we've been doing it for a long time with you, bro.
And that is to say that none of us are, we don't have these. None of us have these like misconceptions about game development and how it works and everything. I think all four of us here understand the incredible amount of skill, understanding, and prowess that goes into making one of these actually exist. It's a miracle we even have video games that function at all. But at the that is the market, and our job here basically is to kind of point out the things that we like, and we try to do that where we can. But when there's flaws that do hamper the ability to go back and fully enjoy an experience, or keep us from feeling a certain level of quality, or if it's something confusing where it's like, why are you even doing this to begin with? It's not us saying that the qualities of something don't exist. It's just that we're pointing out that we're pointing out something bad. It doesn't mean we hate the thing in its entirety.
We tend to be just people in general, especially people who are very passionate. I think all of us are very passionate people. I don't think any of us would have agreed to even start this show if we weren't. But we tend to be most critical, like the most critical of the things we care about the most. Sonic, at least for me, there are 3 gaming franchises really that are the literally the biggest staples in my life and gaming library. Sonic, Resident Evil, Pokemon. And every one of those series at some point has thrown me through a loop and gotten me into one of these passionate rants. And it's not because I hate the series, and I don't think any of us do. It's always because this is something that we love, this is something we enjoy, and it's not that we're upset when we don't get what we want, it's that when we know the series can do better and it underachieves, that's painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making any of these arguments for the team working on Ride to Hell Retribution 2. It's because it's something that we care about. It's because it's something that we know the skill and the abilities of this team when they're able to create something truly special. And it's always sad to see what looks to us like obvious places in which it could be more.
Yeah. That's the crux of it. That's what it comes down to. Beautifully said, Cirrus. I do I just love I'm watching this chat here. We did miss another super chat.
Was that not
Sorry,
Wayne?
go ahead, Pup.
It was Wayne that said that last part.
Yeah, it was. I was just waiting for you guys to get done chatting. You both made valid points. I just think Cirrus
Yeah, no, sir, stay good.
Good job, Cirrus. Well done. Good
Oh
tits,
my
mate.
god,
Good
thank
titties.
you for the participation trophies, everyone.
I'm just gonna
You
go
did
crawl
really
back into my
good
grave.
today. Fuck off, Wayne.
Okay.
Oh my god. So Jerome gave us £2. This is an interesting question. Mania team make a Sonic Jam looking game? Thoughts?
Yes.
Well, I bet they are.
Another one?
Do it. I want
No more classic Sonic ever, I decree.
No,
Look,
I
all I'm
want
saying-
crunchy poly Sonic. I want it so bad. Give it to me.
Yeah, don't we all? Don't we
We
all?
need
Fucking-
Sonic Jam, and we need Sonic Slam, and then we need Sonic.
We need Sonic, thank you, ma'am.
And we need Sonic Basketball.
Yeah.
And then we need to bring
Starring
Sally
with-
back, and Sonic gets horny for her on the basketball court.
Yep.
Sonic, I'm sat in my own piss collection.
No. It's not piss. It's stuff, which is really just tap water.
Darn.
No more Santiago. Yes to classic Sonic, dude. I want so bad for them to just give. So the really crunchy low poly Sonic we got for Sonic Mania and the special stages. I just want a Sonic game with that makes this like looks like Sonic R but plays like Sonic Adventure.
Amazing.
I want that.
I do want that.
I just want a nice HD Sonic game that I can play and have fun with.
You
It's high quality
kids
enough.
these days with your high definition and your 8K monitors.
So let
Was
me
that
tell you.
Wayne or Cirrus this time? Like, literally, your voices are starting to mesh for me.
Serious.
Okay.
I will say, have you heard of a great little thing called the mod loader for Sonic Adventure 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I've
There
got
you
the
go.
Dreamcast
I got-
mod on that.
Dude,
and
I've got the Dreamcast conversion mod and better SADX running.
It's so
Yep.
good.
Feels good.
Yeah, I've got that.
That's just my like therapy Sonic game. If I just want to feel better that day, I go and I play that.
Feels good, man.
It
It
does feel
does.
good. I was literally yelling at Nick on a stream at one point, please use the mod loader for Sonic Adventure. And he's like, no, I've got to play Big the Cat in all of his 4x3 glory.
Yeah, I'm not reviewing what fans did to fix Sega's fuck ups.
Oh, also, we got like another $5 super chat from Lady Sith. It is yet another doggo.
It is more cheering for Channel Pup.
Thank you very much. That's for me.
So is there anything else that we want to get into before we wrap things up today?
No, I'm good.
Hedgehogs are stupid. Let's talk about Metroid.
Nick, you sound drained as hell.
I can't talk about it.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
know stuff. I'm sorry. I'm very mad about stuff. Ain't
Okay.
nothing to do with you, but man, oh my god. Oh my god, Sega. I fucking hate you so much right now.
Oh dear. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for coming out today on Sunset City. We managed to have a very large chunk of viewers today, and you all are absolutely amazing. And especially when sometimes we're not able to get the show out right at the time that we usually try to do, the fact that you guys still show up is phenomenal. And I just want to thank everybody in the audience. You guys are wonderful.
You guys are amazing. You guys are incredibly incredible. And I'm sorry, I gotta just silently seethe and not explain. God damn it.
Cope and seethe, Nick. Cope and seethe.
I want to go back in the Matrix.
Put me back under. Yeah, no, we love y'all. We couldn't do this. We could do this, but it's like it wouldn't have any meaning if it weren't for you guys here.
That's why
I disagree.
That's why
Frankly,
we literally
couldn't. Nah, I would rather just speak at the mirror, to be honest, frankly. You guys are shit. Fuck you all. Apart from the ones that paid, that's awesome. You guys are great. You're welcome back anytime. Just be sure to pay us more.
Wait,
but I fucking didn't. Freeloaders hanging out.
Oh my god. They don't speak for me.
We give you free content, and this is okay. No, I'm not gonna piggyback off of that.
Yeah, don't rationalize it because you're, bruh.
What kind of simp? It comes
You're
in here.
You're violating Pose law, man. Yeah, Sunset City OnlyFans coming soon. You can see our feet.
Pop, you only even know about Poe's law because I explained it to you. Don't fucking use Poe's law on me.
And now I'm weaponizing it against you. You know why?
God.
Because you're a pussy bitch boy.
I am never going to teach you informal logic ever again. Fuck me.
Yeah, don't give me
don't
knowledge.
Give you weapons.
I will use it.
Okay, thank you all so much for joining us. This has been Sunset City. Bebop Nux.
And until the next time. Fuck off.
Bebop Nux with the 2 pounds. I'm not a freeloader. Okay.
Oh God, we guilted somebody into giving us money.
God,
I'm sorry. No, we
that's
love
horrible.
You. Like, we are so
no, we're not sorry. You did the right thing. You did the right thing.
No,
You're forgiven.
How are you on the opposite end of me on everything in my life, pup? God.
I forgive you, Bebop Nux.
It's because they're
love you.
Look, your love is meant to be, Nick. Just accept it. Deal with it. Okay. You're a furry now. It's fine. You can manage. Before we go, though, if you guys have...
I'm his sleep paralysis demon, is what I'm trying to say.
Fuck?
That is my... look, my cat is very horny. I am sorry.
Fuck your cat, then.
Can you blame it? Look at you.
Literally.
Okay. Before we go, if you guys have not subscribed to all of our main channels, it would be a wonderful time to do so. You can check in the description of most of the videos on here. First,
them.
I'm getting to that.
Earn your wage.
I'm getting to that. You fuck shit. You would.
I'd say you for name them.
Listen here, you adopt. I'd say you're adopted, but that would assume somebody chose you. Fuck. Anyway.
Damn. Holy cow, dude. Just multiple levels of offensive there. My God, dude. Yeah, end the stream. End the stream.
Up, Sturris, you slowpoke. Hurry up. Come on, cat tits.
I'm literally
Were you too busy lactating? Hurry the fuck up.
I'm literally trying to shout you out, pup. Holy fuck.
Yeah, fucking get on with it. Come on, cat tits. Come on.
If you haven't subscribed to Channel Pup already, please go do so. Channel's Channel Pup. If you haven't subscribed to Game Apologist, all of this stuff is luckily conveniently named Game Apologist. If you haven't subscribed to Wayne, his stuff is Wayne is Wayne is boss.
Wait, what?
What? Good night, everybody.
Don't forget the Patreon pages. Them too.
Go to the Patreons. Go to the Patreons. We're ending. Bye.
Forget the Patreon pages. Them too.
Go to the Patreons. Go to the Patreons. We're ending. Bye.